In this game, chasing those inclusive bird rooms can wear you out to death. And do you end up getting wrecked by random every day and start doubting your whole life? You're not alone. Blizzard gave us a legendary masterpiece, Diablo 2. But at the same time, it dragged every player into a pit. It trapped us in something called the low probability trap. Everyone knows that feeling. Grinding cows and cows for weeks, desperately waiting for that one big ruin to finally drop. And the traditional farming mindset only traps you in an endless loop of pure luck. It feels like magic, and annoying, that kind of magic. But we all know only magic can defeat magic. And likewise, only math can defeat Blizzard's low probability formula. Today, I'm fighting back with math, pulling us out of this pit. I'm going to review in Diablo 2 the one and only most brutal get-rich strategy. It's not cow rounds, and it's not Travinco. We are going to use asymmetry premium economics, lock onto 3 bosses in the whole game, and become rich. Because they are the most generous bosses. They will pay you investment bank director money. All my reasoning from here is based on this formula. This is our strongest weapon against Blizzard's trap. Profit equals value times job rate divided by time. Simple, right? And simple is key. If you want to get serious rich, you need to find a high value target and in an extremely short amount of time, acquire it constantly. That's the underlying logic of wealth, whether on Wall Street or in Sanctuary. The principle is the same. If it only takes you 1 second to oil a key and you make $1,000 an hour, keep it up for a year and you are guaranteed to be a millionaire. Today, I'm your analyst in Diablo 2, helping you find items that meet 3 standards: high value, high job rate, low time to obtain. Alright, let's go to farm. First, let's look at the first variable, job rate. Step 1 is simple, fill out the trash. Anything with a job rate lower than 100% doesn't count. Drop it immediately, because those are Blizzard's traps for you. Unique items, set items, throw them all away. These are lottery tickets Blizzard hands you to keep you poor and busy for whole life. After filtering, what's left on the list? Let's check the database. We've got gems, low tier runes, plus potions, gold, arrows, and so on. And finally, organs and keys, Uber keys. Now we plug in the second variable, value. We can cross out arrows right away, as well as potions and gold. Their drop rates are high, but their market value is 0. That's what you'd call junk spawn. However, how do we evaluate what's left? How do we know whether gems or Uber keys have the higher ROI? This is where we have to go deeper into asymmetric premium economics. If you want to fight a war, you first have to understand the battlefield. The Diablo 2's economy is an asymmetric premium market. This is where we are going to fight. I've made videos before digging deep into this concept. Let me sum it up in 1 sentence. In this kind of market, perfect top-tier product takes 99% of the profit. Everything else is basically treated as trash. Secondary players aren't just after gear. Take any charms for example. Anything with stats below 16 is only worth a few perfect gems. You need 90/90 or higher for it to even be worth an IST. And what about 20/20/10? That's god tier pricing. As veteran players, we all know Paladin torches are the gold standard, especially 2021. Do you know the odds for rolling that, here's the formula. The probability is 0.118%, roughly one hit in 1,000. Even if you lower your standards and settle for 80 plus, the odds are still only 1.06%. So, what does this mean for us? It means, on average, a player chasing perfect rolls has to burn through 1,000 sets of 3+3 keys on average to even see a perfect torch. Even the lower standard players who just want an 80 plus paladin torch, statistically speaking, still need about 100 sets of 3+3 keys to get one. This massive desperate demand compressed the entire market's value onto the raw materials. And for torches, the raw material is keys. In an asymmetric premier market, raw materials always hold value better than average finished products. The profit doesn't go to the gambler identifying torches and praying for 2020, it goes to the one selling chips to the gamblers. The materials used for gambling are the real winners. Once you understand this, we can evaluate what's left on the list. Only items used for gambling have high value. So I will give you the conclusion directly. Keys has the highest value, far higher than any other gambling token. Some people might get salty and say, Strong, you are just using a stupid formula to prove that everyone already knows. Yes, and this is our foundation. We prove it theoretically first so we can go further later. Next, we plug in the third variable, time. Among the remaining high drop rate items, gems, rare rooms, and the Uber keys, which one is the most efficient? The answer is still keys. With a decent build, one key boss run takes only 1 to 2 minutes. These gatekeepers aren't final bosses. They don't have insane trash bobs, no long animations, and a very short travel time. Compare that to Andy or Mirth, not to mention Diablo and Bar. One run wasted at least 6 minutes of your life. In the end, the winner is still keys. At this point, we found out a target. Uber keys. They perfectly defeat Blizzard's low probability formula. Some people may still protest. Strong, I found James' perfect amethysts are variable and they dropped everywhere. There's no need to argue. The answer is already in the formula. Here's a profit references to several popular items. The data here is calculated using the monsters with the highest drop rate and efficiency. A few notes for the nitpickers. The jar room data already included the possibility of multiple monsters dropping at once. Otherwise, the probability would be as low as 0.000054. Clear speed is a long-term average, including pathing, teleporting, selling, and buying, stash management, and short breaks under 2 minutes. Our standard is that it must be sustainable for over 2 hours. If your single run is faster, don't rush to argue. Go record 2 full hours yourself, check the average, and then we can discuss. One last clarification. This table compares item to item to identify the true cash cow. So don't rush to argue about which map feels better. In the next video, I will do a more complete overall evaluation. Don't miss it. We've proven in theory that keys are the perfect queue for Blizzard's traps. But does it actually hold up in the real market? Time for a sanity check. Economic theory tests us. In an asymmetry market, raw materials prices usually equal or slightly exceed the average price of the finished product. In late seasons, a 3-3 key set usually goes for 3 IST or more, which is exactly the average price of a torch. Merit. Keys are always more liquid than torches. Second hit. Stability. Key prices hold up throughout the entire season. Merit again. This guarantees key farmers are always the winners. You will have a stable, predictable way to get rich. Up to this point, we will validate both in theory and in practice that keys are the most profitable thing you can find right now. As long as you are willing to grind, you'll get rich within the expected time. But there will still be people who argue, shouldn't I farm chaos stand trees? The Diablo can drop everything. The monsters there can drop everything too. And every single one has a chance to drop a high room. Yeah. You will all think these videos. One day someone picks up a jar today, tomorrow someone else picks another bird. Did you hear that? That's lucky gods screaming, oh, I pick up 2 jars in chaos. This guide is totally useless. Bruh, if your luck is really that insane, congratulations. You will got dark magic. You don't need to watch this video. You don't even need to hang around the Diablo channels on YouTube. You'd be keeping up high runes all day, so many you can't even keep up. But for the other 99% of the people living in reality, hope is not a strategy. Only math is. In the Rune era, Chaos Sanctuary has basically become a wasteland for us. Over 80% of the unique items are trash now. Nobody wants them. As for the useful stuff that's left like griffins, Bar has the highest drop rate in the whole game. 1 in 46,000. Do you really want to bet your life on odds like that? Either way, to shut those screens up, in the next video I will calculate it directly in game and verify it. The top 3 keys of ROI, I will show you how to make every minute you invested in game convert into value, into IST rooms. And I will also list the income streaming of several popular maps and bosses, so you can use data to decide your best plan of action. You might even end up loving the boss you used to hate the most. Subscribe to Strong Game Base, and I will see you in the next one.